sometimes you've just got to splurge. And what I have for you today is definitely splurge worthy. Yep, I've got Sriracha Aioli sauce. That's my new favorite splurge. And I also have a tofu burrito bowl, and don't go changing the channel just because I said tofu. Number one, it's actually delicious, but number two, you can also make this with chicken. So stay tuned to see it all. Welcome to the Spicy Apron Cooking Show. My name is Heather, and I am here to show you the easiest ways to get the best results in your kitchen. I do focus on clean eating, healthy cooking, and today I'm going a little bit outside that box, just a little bit, because I am making Sriracha Aioli sauce. It is delicious, and I'm also going to finish it out the healthy way by slathering it all over my tofu burrito bowl. Now, I do have links to both of these below. They are separate links. One goes just to the Sriracha Aioli, if you want to click on that. The other one goes to the tofu burrito bowl. They go very well together, which is why I am doing it all in one video. Now, let's get to the aioli sauce. This is super easy, and it does fit squarely in my 5 or fewer series, which is when I do recipes that have either 5 or fewer ingredients or 5 or fewer steps. This fits both of those. So let's start with that. The 5 ingredients in this aioli are, of course, garlic. And yes, there is a fair amount of garlic. And the main ingredient, olive oil. And we've got some egg yolks and some fresh lemon. Yes, always use fresh. Of course, Sriracha sauce. This is what gives it its kick. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is blanch the garlic. I am doing this in my multo by Cooking Pal. I'd like to thank them for sponsoring today's video. You can certainly do this recipe without it, but it's a lot easier all in this one unit, so I'm going to start with that. Now, this recipe is a modification of one that comes already pre-loaded in my multo with a tablet that comes with it. I absolutely love this. It's super easy, but the great thing is you can also modify the recipes and make them your own. So I'm going to start with garlic, and yes, I have 10 cloves of garlic here. The recipe calls for 12, but because I'm adding sriracha, which also has garlic in it, I'm reducing the garlic just a little bit. So the first step is to blanch the garlic. Now, as you probably know by now, my multo does a lot of things. It doesn't just blend and whip and grind, it also cooks. So I'm going to start by blanching the garlic in my multo. I'm just going to blanch it by adding some water and simmering it. If you don't have a multo, you can certainly blanch your garlic on the cooktop. Now, because this is a preloaded recipe, all I do is go to the next step and hit start. It's going to rotate at a very low level so it doesn't chop the garlic, but it will keep the garlic moving so it doesn't burn, and it's just going to blanch it. Oh my gosh, I think there's not much better than the smell of garlic cooking. Okay, I'm gonna drain it out and we'll go to the next step. To the blanched garlic, I'm just going to add the rest of the ingredients, the juice from 1 lemon. It really does make a difference if you use fresh lemon juice, but of course, in a pinch, you certainly can use the store-bought bottled kind. And 3 egg yolks, which is very traditional in aioli sauce. And then my addition is the sriracha sauce. Now, there is a wide range of amount of sriracha you can add. It really depends on your spiciness preference. As you know, I do like it a little bit spicy. I use about 2 tablespoons per cup of sauce. A lot of people use 1 tablespoon per cup of sauce. And you just want to add about a teaspoon of salt. All right, so my multo is going to blend that all up. Again, if you have a traditional high-powered blender, you can do that too. And you really just chop it up for about 30 seconds. Now, the last step is we're just going to drizzle the olive oil in, but first scrape down the sides of your blender bowl. Now, that is what I'm talking about. I can smell that garlic. I can smell the sriracha. Oh, I cannot wait till this comes together. Okay, the lid goes back on, and I'm going to drizzle the oil through the open hole in the lid If your blender doesn't have one of those, it makes this a little bit difficult. The multo obviously has that. So I turn multo on and I drizzle the oil to emulsify it. And if you want to know more about what the multo can do, I put this whole video together showing all of the different things, but also stay tuned because later in this video, I'm going to show you the multi-stacked layered cooking. And it's awesome because you can cook one huge meal at the same time in the same device. So love that. Now let's drizzle the oil. All right, it just finished emulsifying. By the way, if you are interested in more quick and easy healthy recipes, I do invite you to subscribe below and go ahead and hit that notification bell because then you'll be alerted every time a new video comes out. Okay, that's it. Let's check it out. This looks beautiful. It's creamy. You can smell the sriracha. You can certainly smell the garlic. This is aioli sauce. Okay, yes, I'm gonna taste it with my finger. Don't worry, I won't double dip. This will go on pretty much anything. It's delicious. I'm gonna put it on my tofu burrito bowl, but also check out my sweet potato air fryer fries. I can just imagine dipping a whole bunch of them into this sauce. So let's move on to the tofu. Okay, on to making the tofu burrito bowl. This is one of my favorite aspects of multo, is that it's got multi-layer cooking. And by that, I mean we're going to make the rice in here. At the same time, we're going to do the tofu in there. Yes, you can do chicken, I already told you that. And we're gonna do the veggies in here. And we're going to do them all at the same time. So, how do we do that? Well, let me show you. First, the rice. This is a simmering basket, and it is what I use to cook rice. And even if I'm only just cooking rice by itself, this is by far my preferred method. So just add your rice to the mixing bowl. Again, you can make this recipe without multo. You just probably can't do it all at once, but if you're doing it without multo, then go ahead and cook your rice according to the directions. So you want to rinse your rice and put it in the bowl. And now I'm going to add the liquid to cook the rice. Now, I prefer to use vegetable broth. You could use chicken broth or you could use plain water. Now, another one of my favorite features is that it has a built-in scale. So the recipe will tell you how many ounces of broth you need to add, but it will just count up that number as you add it. So that's pretty cool. Once you add the amount of liquid they tell you to add, again, the full recipe is below, then the next step is to put the tofu in the deep steaming basket. Now let's talk about tofu for just a minute. Those of you who follow me know I used to actually really dislike tofu, and honestly that's because it just doesn't have much taste. So I've learned you have to flavor the tofu, and it works even better if you flavor it from the inside out. This is a little bit of a step beyond what a lot of people do with tofu, but I just wanted to let you know what I do in order to give the tofu a lot of flavor from the inside out is I do actually brine it usually before I use it. So I did brine this tofu. All I did is cut it into slabs and then simmer some salt in some water, and then I tore it into pieces. Now, the reason I like to tear it into the pieces is it just looks a little bit more natural instead of like these little square chunks that you see everywhere you go. So I like it to look a little bit different than that. Now I'm going to add the seasonings. The recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of Cajun seasoning. Again, you can do this on chicken or the tofu. I like Cajun seasoning, so that's good with me, but if you just want to do like paprika or something like that, that is also good. So you just want to sprinkle it over the tofu and mix it really well. Now when your tofu is mixed up with the seasonings, then you put this layer on. It's the deep steaming basket. Then pour the tofu into the basket. Spread it out into as close to a single layer as you can get. And next up, we have the veggies. Now, I did a mixture of red bell pepper, green bell pepper, and red onions. I just love that combination in a burrito bowl, but you can always stick with just green or just red or no onions or whatever you want. So spread all those out in one layer. You put it right on top of the tofu. Don't you guys just love this? It's like all done at the same time. Put the lid on, go to the convenient little tablet, and just hit start. And all it's going to do is it's going to cook the rice and the tofu and the veggies at the same time for 30 minutes. It's like magic. Now let's build our burrito bowl. We've got the perfectly steamed veggies. Love that. Now I'm gonna set these aside and we're gonna check out our tofu. Now, seriously, you guys, look at that tofu. It doesn't really look like your standard little squares of tofu with no flavor. This stuff is loaded with flavor. Oh, you're gonna like tofu after you try that. Now I'm gonna take this basket off and we're gonna look at our rice. Like I said, cooking rice in multo is my favorite way to make rice. It is always perfect and it's gonna be fabulous in our burrito bowls. And also, I do have a link below to Multo by Cooking Pal. You can check it out. And for the rest of the month of February, they are allowing you to add an extra bowl to your order. When you buy the full unit, you can add an extra bowl for $100. They're normally about $225, so it's actually a really good deal. Plus, if you put in discount code TheSpicyApron, you'll get an additional $80 off. So that's almost like getting an extra bowl for free. So check it out if multo is something that interests you. I do love mine. I do use it all the time. Now let's build our burrito bowl. Okay, to build a bowl, just put the rice on the bottom, and now we're gonna layer everything else. These veggies are perfectly cooked. Look at that. And now the tofu, and it could be chicken if that's what you want. And don't be shy with the tofu. Now I like to add some black beans and some corn. I just put them in room temperature because everything else is really warm. Now look at how beautiful that is. And you didn't think I had forgotten about our fabulous Sriracha Aioli sauce. I'm gonna drizzle that just on top of the tofu. It's got a fabulous flavor and a little does go a long way. And then finally, of course, just a few little pieces of cilantro. And my favorite part of the video, time to taste it. This sucker is loaded with flavor. You can taste those Cajun seasonings on the tofu. That Sriracha Aioli, that can go on almost everything. Thank you for watching the Spicy Apron Cooking Show. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions regarding multo or anything about this recipe. Happy cooking and happy eating.